All right, Shalom. Good Lord. Somebody listening just to sure I could be heard. All right. Okay. This is Ephesians. Okay. Ephesians. And I'm gonna start with chapter 6. Okay. And I'm gonna start with you know what? Start with the book of Timothy. This is Second Timothy, chapter 2 and 4. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may choose him who had chosen him to be a soldier. Call on like Yahweh Bosni outside. Wahab Wakako the honor to the hopefully like elder apostle say to be saved. Lord, will start with those at the great millstone church. On down to the rest abiding under this doctrine, the same doctrine, and the elder brothers teaching this truth, and on down to younger brothers and all true faith and sincerity. All right, teaching this truth as well. Shalom to the members, the brothers here at my congregation over here, at our church, giving diligence, all diligence. And much peace and many blessings to the rest of you believers. All right, you men, women, and children on this faith of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh. All right, okay. So yeah, ultimately to the elect, those that were going to be found to have been of the house of David. So yeah, this is a war. War zone perspective. This pretty much hidden by the spirit. The times we in, the war zone perspective. The scriptures tell us we can truly in a war zone, and that's the perspective that's the perspective you are to have, and something that's minuscule is, leaving your home and driving down the street, getting ready to hit the highways and byways, going, just to make a quick errand. So war zone, all right, because in the midst, um, in which you walk, of where you walk, there's, there's judgment, there's demons, there's lies, there's deception, there's illusion, okay? And that's why the scriptures say that, uh, David said that, okay? I'll get it's Psalm 23. Psalm chapter 23. Lord, Psalm chapter 23 and 4. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, see of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thou art thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So David, he acknowledged, where he walked through, man, and the thing that has been is that which is now, has been there. All right, paraphrasing. So if it's a war zone now, it was a war zone then. So David was acknowledging, where he was walking, man, and that was his perspective. Ultimately, he summed it up to be what the valley of the shadow of death, man. A real low place, uh, you know, period. And that's the perspective he took on, and anybody of the hopefully elect would take on that same perspective, because the hopefully elect, the elect ultimately is the house of David, you know. So they will have the same outlook that David will have. You know, they'll have the same tendencies to have the same. They would be subjected. Those other houses, they would be subjected to having. Those tending. They would be subject to tending to having those same. Perspective or outlooks on these things. Okay, and my point is what. Um, so ultimately, it's death, man. It's in the midst of all of this. From the so-called women walking around, the people, making. You really got people. You got mirages walking around. People that really appear to be here, but they really not, man. Because the scriptures tell us that. And first, I'll just quote it in Second Peter, the second chapter, how pretty much, you got these people that walk around, you know, it's the same thing. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick because that's going straight into the point. All right, this is Second Peter. That will be just a moment. Okay. This is Second Peter chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse. We'll jump to the point. Second Peter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse. We'll start at 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after to live ungodly, and deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. See, it says, for that righteous man dwelling among them. See that? And seeing. See that? That perspective. And hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. So this is what is known, was talked about in the scriptures or in the Apocrypha, how good is set against evil. All right, good is set against evil. That's a war, man. You know, and you see this war taking place visually, verbally, from lies being told, people thinking they can eat what they want. They think, so-called God love everybody, so-called Jesus Christ love everybody. They think it's gonna be peace. While we believe he's a so-called black man, so you're in a world of, it's a war on truth, man. You see, it's a war on reality. You got another instance I want to mention. It slips my mind now, but pretty much is it, this is how you visually see these things and verbally see these things. You got, damn so-called white man, the elite, watching us, man. That's physical, but then that's still, that's visual. See that? Anyway, it says for that righteous man, and my point is what we see a lot. We understand this clearly because the scriptures is laying this out. That which is now, it has been. The scriptures telling us Lot. This is how Lot seen it, man. Lot is another example of the remnant. The remnant is another word for what? The elect. See that? Anyway, it says, for that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds, man. You see? So you got people out here telling the truth. You got people out here telling lies. It's a war verbally. You got people out here. It's clear, man. It's just one big war, man. All right, I don't want to draw this out, but I do want to grab this meaning real quick. When you get that word vex, another word that gives you a torment. That's what takes place in war. You see that? When the troops, these troops of these other countries get a hold of their enemies, citizens because they're in their land or something like that. You're grabbing people up, casualties, if you will. There's casualties in war. You know, and what the casualty is innocent. You got, if you will, innocent people, bystanders getting touched, man. You know, hell, your in this regard, your innocence will be your just perpetual subjectiveness, if you will, to this thing, to this war, to the lie. You matter of fact, because the scriptures tell us how in what's the Isaiah the 34th chapter, how uh how the sinners in Zion are afraid, and they go on to say how who among us shall dwell among the torments and stuff like that, the devouring fire, paraphrasing. It says, he that keepeth his eyes from seeing evil, to stoppeth his ears from hearing the blood, to stoppeth his hands from shaking of oppression or bribery. You see what I'm saying? So basically, keep yourself innocent. Matter of fact, this is Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, and 137 or something. 130. Yeah, the casualty is our innocence. You see? Let's see if I can grab it. Uh, this is Psalm 26, and I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at 1. Judge me, O Lord Yahweh, for I have walked in mine integrity. You see, in mine integrity, I have trusted also in the Lord Yahweh Basmi Shah. Therefore, I shall not slide. All right, and I'm gonna jump down to. I'm gonna just read through. Examine me, O Yahweh, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. For thy loving kindness is before mine eyes. I have walked in thy truth. See that? I have not sat. This is a Psalm of David. I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissimulars. I have hated the congregation of evildoers and will not sit with the wicked. Because why? All the things they bring forth, as the opposition, as far as how they speak, the things they look at, things they consider, things they touch, all of that, right? But it's the point. I will wash my hands in innocency. You see? Innocency. It says, so will I compass thine altar. You see? So will I compass thy altar, O Yahweh, Basmi Al-Shah. See that? It says, I'm going to read this, and that'll be it. It says, that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving and tell of all thy wondrous works. See? So, a casualty every day is more of your innocency, period. And I wish I can get that word in the Hebrew, but I don't got my joint on me right now. But, point being, that's what takes place in the war. Okay, that's what takes place in a war. Casualties, which goes back into 2 Peter 2 and 8. It says, for that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing, see, vex his righteous soul. That word vex could be it could be replaced, if you will, with or interchanged with torment, which takes place in war upon what? Casualties. So basically, your innocency, your mind, the things you wouldn't consider, but you subject to it. See, it's like when a war going on, you got so-called innocent bystanders that just get hit by ricochet bullets just because they amongst this shit. They subject to it. You see? For example, you could just be at home, you could have the TV playing or some shit, and some bullshit just come on. You know what I'm saying? Just fuck your whole mind up. You know, your kids could be around, some gay ass commercial come on or something. You know, you would be looking, you see some shit you don't want to see. There's some shit you don't want to hear. You know, and now you know that much more of wickedness. You see, torment. So that's a casualty. That's what takes place, and what you got to understand that. So you have to keep your eyes from seeing of evil and hearing of, all these different things. Read that in Isaiah the 34th chapter, man. Okay, but that's not even my point. I'm gonna read through. It says, "The Lord knoweth how." I'm gonna read through. It says, "Vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds." He tormented your innocency, right? Your mind, your eyes. You see what I'm saying? Is tormented by what these people do. Like, it's just like somebody shooting at you, man. See that? It's powerful. It say what? It says, "The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished, but chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak of dignity." Now I'm going to jump to the point. It says, verse 12, "But these as natural brute beasts, made to be taken," you see, made to be taken and destroyed, "speak evil of things they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption." They're not even here. You see? They're not even, and you can read the rest of this, which I won't do. They like, when you jump down to the rest of this chapter, it says basically you got people who fall victim to this, right? In the truth, which is why I'm going into this, because it's a war zone. These are war zone perspectives you must take on, man. These people can get a hold of you by the things you're subject to getting hit up by, the things you're seeing, the people you're around, the shit they're doing. You subject to, see some shit not come back from it. You got to keep your mind sturdy, man. You will go crazy. Say they don't get you to go to the other side, but they break you because you're just so sick of the wickedness. That's what you're subject to. So when you read the rest of this chapter, it goes on talking about how you got people who of the other side will try to talk to these people that's in the truth, us that's in the truth, and promise us liberty, like a damn so-called family member. That's a trained assassin. They low level though, but that's a trained assassin, if you will, for the other side, man, for Satan. They come to you, make you think, wow, I went through that phase too. Is everything gonna be all right? I was reading that book when I was your age too, about 20 years ago. You got you thinking how I ain't coming back, and nothing like that. And it, basically getting you in the spirit of that, free. Just be free. Don't worry about it. It says, I'm gonna just read it, verse 19. "While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For see that, for of a man is for of whom a man is overcome, of the same he is brought in bondage." Right? That takes place in war. "If after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord Yahweh Shah, like the Lord, right, and Savior Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome." You see, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness. So this is somebody in the truth, right? That was enlisted in the war and was told they was told about the war. They was given a word. You given this truth to go fight and be able to battle now, right? Like this nigga right here, man. You see, he got this whole persona like shit good, like it's some, like he Jordan Belfort or some shit, But it says, for it had been better for them not, and he can easily overtake me with his disposition. You see all these people walking around eating ice cream and shit, and you ain't, that can overwhelm. That can have you thinking everything like, yo, am I tripping? Am I bugging? You know, maybe I'm too uptight. Maybe it's a coat. You know, well, upon you thinking like that, you being shocked the fuck up. You see, you being hit up, and you bleaking. And if you give over to it, you dead now. You out of there, and you might, you probably blacked out because you could come back. You know, that's the equivalent of going off. You wake up, you know, in the damn white room, people nursing, fucking putting scalpels and shit on you, man. Basically, the equivalent of that'll be the example of, you getting back amongst the congregation and brothers rebuking your ass. You know, your husband telling you this. You coming, you being brought back to life again. You got hit up, man. You was going to, we almost lost you. See that? But anyway, and it's through this. But I'm not gonna fold to dude, We was gonna shoot at each other. you know? I'm throwing daggers, all right? Ninja stars. But anyway, let me go ahead and close out. It say the latter end is worse than with them than the beginning, for it had been better for them not to not have known the right way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her own wallowing in the mire. So dealing with men and you women, man. Basically, the imaginations, these illusions. Because they wallowing in it like it's really something, but it's nothing. It ain't shit. It's a bunch of shit. You eating your damn throw up like it's food, It's no. But that's what you subjected to doing upon just walking the hell outside, man. So you have to understand these things. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this and close out. I think the point is proven. Okay. So yeah, this is Ephesians. Now that I proved that, this is Ephesians. You know what? Let me go ahead and get this Isaiah real quick. Make this a good lesson that we watch. This is Isaiah 34, and it says, I'm gonna start at verse not 34. See, I'm glad this is spirit. It was Isaiah the 33rd chapter, Salaki. Isaiah 33, and I'm gonna start at 14. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness has surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Yeah. Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burning? He that walketh righteously. You're gonna make it out of this fire. You're gonna make it out of this war. You're gonna be able to walk through the war zone, man. You gotta have this perspective though. With a certain perspective, you can get the job done. He that walketh righteously, he that speaketh uprightly, he that despises the gain of oppression. You see? Niggas out here, yeah, bro. Yeah, what's up, bro? Yeah. If I give you 30, if you go in there and grab this for me, nah. It's gonna put oppressing on people, but it says what? And that's losing the war. You getting shot at that point, man. One move, just going and wash your clothes up the street can result in you being in jail. At the end of the night. Trust me, I know. It says what? That shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, you see, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. See? He shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. It says, bread shall be given him, his water shall be sure. You ain't going to have nothing to worry about, man. Okay, when you go into that word munitions, the words you can interchange right there is what? What is it? Fortress. Okay? So, yeah, man. We looking out for war, hey, we going to win, man. These battles. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get this, and I'm gonna close out. This is 2 Timothy 2 and 4. It says, verse 3. It says, let me start at 2. And the things thou hast heard of many of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. Yeah, because it's another way you're gonna win the war. We need people. You need an army against the army, man. But anyway, recruit. Thou therefore endure, people to cover you. You see? But anyway, it says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shah. No man that warred during the war entangleth himself with the affairs of this life. That's the equivalent, to going. That's the equivalent of going over to your enemy's side while they're looking for you with the beams out, and you just going right up to them trying to shake their hand. They're gonna gut you, man. You see, you're gonna be left with nothing. See, so no man that wars entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. Meaning when. You see? And now I'll close out with this. And when you read verse 8, it talks about David. So this is what? This is the perspective that you are to have if you are of the hopefully elect, man. Lord willing, be elect. Ephesians 6, and I'm going to start at 10. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. You see, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. You got to keep your head on the straight and narrow, man. These women out here, they ain't nothing. Nobody got nothing to offer you, man. Now we supplant. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have the outright perspective. This is a whole other thing to go into, man. So all we just need is our daily bread at the end of the day, man. Remember that. That's what we need. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers. You see, this war is in the mind. It's a visual war. It's a war on your flesh. It's a war on your dignity, your integrity. You see, it's a war on these things, man. It's a war on, morals and, truth. It's a war on truth, man. Standing for truth. It ain't cool no more. See? It says against the rulers against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, Yahweh Shah, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. You see, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. You see, just the truth. You know what all this is. America's on its way out. These people demons, they don't really exist. I just need my daily bread. I need to endure. I can use the world, not abuse it. Simple, man. Things is going forward. Shit is getting worse. Okay, and it says, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. You see, and it says, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, above all taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye the shield of faith. See, you having this faith, being on this faith, having this understanding, this hope is gonna block, it's gonna shield, it's gonna be as a shield unto you, man, from all the the come to this side, because you hoping something that's gonna, but when that whole thing is out here trying to impede its way on you, onto your road to on your path of walking down this path of faith to the destination that is we know the Lord doesn't lie and has told us to be at the end of it. When these things try to come and impede their way on your path, you having that very faith and truly having that faith, being in on this faith, is going to shield that shit off, man. Because you hope for better. So I ain't got to settle and sell out. No. I know I got the right thing right here. It says what? wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. See, shooting at you, and take the helmet of salvation. You see, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Hey, call Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah.